And the violence, harassment, and intimidation that we have seen in Nova Scotia over the past few weeks are completely unacceptable. They cannot continue, and they must stop now. And because these criminal actions and violence have escalated, the response from the police in Nova Scotia has by necessity also escalated. And that means that more police resources are being deployed, both within Nova Scotia and from outside the province, to the theatre. Minister Furey, as the Provincial Justice Minister, and I spoke last week, and as a result of that conversation, he forwarded a request for additional resources for the Nova Scotia RCMP. That request was immediately approved, and that means that the Nova Scotia RCMP are now able to draw on RCMP resources from neighboring provinces within the Atlantic bubble. And as of today, there are additional officers on the ground in Nova Scotia. The RCMP reports that they have deployed ground resources, resources on the water, liaison teams, and investigative resources required to maintain the peace and uphold the law at that location. Local detachment members in Southwest Nova are on the ground. People who live in the community are familiar with the community. A number of Indigenous officers who also are from the community and aware of the long history of this conflict are being supplemented by additional resources from Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and New Brunswick. These officers are conducting supplemental uniform patrols to high-risk areas, maintaining a strong presence to maintain the peace. I want all Canadians to know that we are taking these threats and the violence that has taken place very seriously. I know from experience that when such violence takes place, it can tear communities apart. And this is the worst possible outcome of any conflict. The suspicion, fear, and conflict can last within these communities for generations. And we do not want to see this happen in Nova Scotia or in any place in Canada. The reckless violence and the racist threats that we have seen do nothing to bring us closer to a resolution. They only serve to divide us, to put our friends and our families and our communities in danger. And that is why the violence must come to an end now. It is the only way to give us all an opportunity to find a peaceful, lasting solution. In my conversations with the RCMP Commissioner, I have received assurances, and I am confident with the additional resources that have been deployed, we have the necessary means to enforce our laws, to keep the peace, and to protect public safety.